This is a video about the difference between many things. Abuse, BDSM, um, different kinds of sexuality, and pure uh, misogyny and rapist behavior. Um, this is Jason from the Memphis area, 43-year-old single white male. Not sure if experience as a spanker and role player qualifies me as an expert on any subject, but I have studied and read extensively and played in the scenes. Not a bondage expert, but I am fairly intelligent, so I do feel like I have a point of view on these things, and here's my take on things. I do know people that have been in abusive relationships, and I do know people that have been in BDSM relationships, and never the twain met. Abusers don't consider the other person as a person. That holds true for rapists and misogynists being different than people who have different sexualities than the norm. What brought all this to mind was Clive Davis coming out in an interview yesterday and the day before. Was focused on in the news yesterday and the day before, that he was, quote unquote, in their words, bisexual. He never used those words. He said he was open to relationships with anyone. I believe it was a polite term for I just enjoy doing what I want to do with whoever will let me do it with them. Which is an attitude that many men that don't view people as people when they have relationships or relations, as our former President Clinton used to term it, with people, whether by consent or not consent. They really don't take into consideration the other person being a person. They're just someone to gratify their needs. Now, in a BDSM relationship, pretty much across the board, the connection between the two people during the scene, before the scene, after the scene, or even if it's so far as a relationship, ongoing relationship, is totally paramount. The connection emotionally and during play physically and before and after play physically is vital, because the interplay of the two people with each other is what makes it vital and intriguing. Now, for an abuser or an abusive personality or a using or a user personality, what they're interested in is satisfying their need at the moment. Whether it be power play or simple sexual gratification, or a combination of the two. This is why some people confuse men who cruise bars and pick up whoever they hook up with as being bisexual. That's not really what's going on. They just are looking for someone to satisfy their urges at the time. If they didn't think they would get arrested, a well greased knot hole in a tree in the park would do, as long as it was a warm summer night. You know, if they're looking for power and, you know, beyond that, control, and they have that issue going on in their head, they have, you know, misogynistic tendencies and whatnot, then we're looking at a whole other can of worms and really getting into darker territory as far as what will satisfy their urges. Get into FBI profiler territory as to what will satisfy what they need. Consensual play can go in many different directions. It really depends on what excites you, what fantasies are yours, but the point of it all is trust, and that's something that abusers count on violating and taking away from the people they're with. And I know a lot of people that are I wouldn't say initiated into sex at an early age, but you know, abused at an early age. They have a really hard time when they're older because they trusted someone and it was ripped right out from under them. Abruptly and consistently. Sometimes they never even had a chance to develop any kind of trust. Sometimes it was, you know, right at home that it started. And that's an awful thing for someone to go through. It's an awful thing for someone to try to recover from. That's why I hate that people try to color every person that deviates from accepted societal norms for sexuality and you know, sexuality and sexual behavior and bedroom behavior with the same brush, and it's not all the same. BDSM players are not abusive in general. There are bad apples that try to hide under the banner of BDSM players. Because just like pedophiles that try to join coaching programs to be around children, try to join Boy Scout troops to be around children, try to join any other kind of position of authority over children to be around children. You know, anytime you want to hide under a cloak to gain access to victims, you damage that position. I really think that people misunderstand what happened with the Catholic Church. It wasn't that celibacy led to priests being so hard up that they had to start molesting little boys. That wasn't the dynamic. The dynamic was that men who were attracted to little boys saw an opportunity to hide in plain sight. It's an old story. It's happened for hundreds of years, probably thousands since we got out of the nomadic existence and started living in villages and on up into organized societies where they could take positions to be in charge of groups of people. You want to hide what you're up to, because if a father is doing something within his family, that's one thing. But if a man can't function with a woman, can only function sexually by abusing children, then how is he going to gain a family to abuse the children of? So, you know, it was harder for perverts to indulge back in pre-nomadic, in pre-village days, back in the nomadic days. I would imagine if they were discovered, they were quickly disposed of. It was a harder life back then. Anyway, that's really all I have to say on the matter. Didn't really get to go as far into it as I wanted to, but I don't like to make my videos last an incredibly long time. I'm just starting out. I don't want to have 45-minute videos or 25-minute videos right away, especially since I'm not scripting any. Possibly should start, since I'm touching on so many different topics. However, that's all I have to say at the moment. Perhaps I'll touch on this subject again you agree with something of what I said. If you don't, comment, let me know, and I'll hopefully be posting a video within the next couple of days.